You're watching ABC 7 News at noon.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Our top story today at noon, the latest on the Jacksonville shooting that's left 3 people dead, including the shooter, and 11 others injured. Police believe this man seen posing with a football jersey is 24-year-old David Katz, the shooter who opened fire on the gamers at the Madden NFL 19 video game tournament on Sunday. Overnight, ATF agents raided the Baltimore townhouse owned by Katz's father. Police are now trying to trace the weapon used in the shooting. One competitor says losing the game earlier in the day may have saved his life because he wasn't inside when that shooting began. And we're learning new details on some of the victims, including how one of the survivors has a connection to the Tampa Bay area. ABC 7's Marla Spence is here in the studio to explain. Marla?
Scott, today we're learning more about the victims and their lives. Eli Clayton and Taylor Robinson were killed. They were considered some of the best Madden players across the country. Clayton was 22 years old and a native of California who went by the name True Boy in the gaming community. Over his course of gaming, he reportedly took home $51,000 in prizes, and Robertson was a 27-year-old father and husband from West Virginia, also known as Spot Me Please. Right now we're hearing about more of those injured, as well as one victim who is 25 years old, and he's from the Tampa Bay area. Timothy Anselmo is also known as Larry Legend. Just this morning, he tweeted saying he was still in shock and woke up crying, knowing that his surgery he's getting on his severely damaged hand today will determine if he'll ever be able to play video games again. He was also visited by Governor Scott in the hospital yesterday. I spoke to Anselmo's father on Facebook. He tells us the entire family is setting up a GoFundMe page to help with his son's medical expenses. So far, there is still no word on how that surgery went or if Anselmo will need future surgeries in the future. Scott?
All right, thank you so much, Marla. And remember to get the latest breaking news from across the world and here on the Suncoast and your forecast as well. We invite you to download our apps. Go to your app store and look for WWSB or My Suncoast. Right now, tributes continue to pour in for Senator John McCain, who lost his battle to brain cancer on Saturday. His colleagues, family, and former presidents all reflecting on his life of service as plans for his memorial services are taking shape. His wife of 38 years, Cindy, tweeting, "My heart is broken. He passed the way he lived, on his own terms, surrounded by the people he loved, in the place he loved best." In the nation's capital, flags were at half-staff over the weekend at the White House amid calls to rename a Senate office building in his honor.
I have admired him, like I said, my entire life, and it's tough to imagine a Senate without him. It's tough to imagine politics without John McCain, but we need to go on.
Plans for McCain's memorial services are underway. The New York Times reports former presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama, who both ran against McCain for president, are being asked to eulogize the late senator. President Bush telling ABC he's honored to have been asked to speak. McCain made a stop here in the Suncoast back in 2008 during his presidential campaign. ABC 7's Ray Collins was at Roberts Arena that day to cover the Republican nominee's visit and has a look back at his rally here on the Suncoast. Ray?
Yeah, Scott, Senator John McCain's Straight Talk Express pulled into Roberts Arena in late October 2008, just 2 weeks prior to the election. It was a big appearance. He was here with his wife, Cindy, and brought on stage by then Republican Governor Charlie Crist. This was during the era of Joe the Plumber, trying to appeal to blue-collar voters. One local Republican political consultant was watching that day and said, despite McCain's war hero status and popularity in the Senate, he knew McCain wasn't going to win the White House at that juncture.
He never had a chance. There was a certain amount of, I think among the electorate, there was a certain amount of fatigue for Republicans. You'd had, 8 years of George W. Bush. You'd had the 2 wars going on and on, which McCain backed and supported. What you had side by side was an old, aging, gray-haired white man against a young, vibrant, upbeat black man, and it was an opportunity of a lifetime for Americans to say, aha, here's our chance to show who we really are. We have moved beyond something.
In fact, McCain lost Florida and, of course, the election that year. Thompson called McCain a war hero and a distinguished senator. Scott?
All right, Ray, thank you. New at noon today, one of the biggest effects of the recent red tide outbreak has been the financial hit many local resorts and restaurants have endured. ABC 7's Stephanie Webb takes a look at a new campaign to help area restaurants attract more customers right now.
It's terrible. We've probably been open 4 days out of the past 3 weeks.
All the out-of-state people, they are getting kind of spooked and they're canceling.
I'm losing customers because they're going back home.
From restaurants to hotels to charter boat fishermen and others, so many stories about Suncoast businesses losing money due to the red tide outbreak. Well, now one local website is trying to just do something simple to help give Suncoast restaurants a little boost right now.
You look at the restaurants along the coast, they're the ones that are down 40%, they're down 50%, they're having to lay people off. It's a tough situation for a lot of people.
So in an effort to get customers back into those restaurants, 941area.com has started a digital coupon campaign. And the idea is simple. Restaurants can log on to the website and activate digital coupons that customers can then download to use for free drinks, free appetizers, free desserts, and more.
The bottom line is we want local people and tourists still going into these restaurants and patronizing these businesses.
Stephanie Webb for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Holmes Beach police were out along the shoreline hosting another beach cleanup earlier today. Volunteers met up near 52nd Street Beach to clean up the dead marine life and debris. They were encouraged to find only a handful of dead fish on the beach this morning. Manatee County officials are encouraging residents to head back out to Holmes Beach as conditions appear to be improving, at least for today. And you can find all of our red tide coverage in one place, as well as your answers to some frequently asked questions. You can go online to mysuncoast.com/redtide. Meteorologist John Scalzi joins us now with a look at our forecast. Of course, we've had some, more typical winds out of the east, which are kind of helping, I think, probably with
I think so. I took a look at the mode spotter reports from this morning. Excuse me, all choked up. Must be the red tide.
Yeah.
And they all indicated that all of the intense locations for red tide in the air are gone across the Suncoast. Of course, that could change, and we'll update that for you in the next half hour. But yeah, kind of interesting. Let's hope that the east wind continues through the day. The Lakewood Ranch, excuse me, webcam shows pretty quiet conditions as we started off the morning. In fact, it was a beautiful dawn. Now some clouds are beginning to build. But I'll tell you what, there's some drier air that's kind of snuck into the forecast picture here and reduced rain chances a little bit compared to the last couple of days. Now, you can see some rain showers building over on the other coast, but locally everything is pretty quiet here. We'll talk about the chances for the remainder of the afternoon and update that red tide information for you coming up in just a few. Scott.
All right, John, thank you. ABC 7 business commentator Richard Stern joins us now with the check of the day on Wall Street so far, and we're off to a very strong start on this Monday, aren't we?
Not bad. I'm smiling. I'm smiling because we're breaking records again. You may recall last Friday, such a long time ago, the Standard & Poor's 500 index closed at a record high. Well, today the Standard & Poor's is even higher, and the NASDAQ is not only at a record, but crossing 8,000 for the first time ever. The reason for the enthusiasm? Well, there were rumors that NAFTA with Mexico was going to be renewed or redone, or NAFTA 2. Well, within the last hour, President Trump announced that was exactly the case. Wall Street's very happy. Let's take a look at the figures, and indeed impressive they are. There you see the Dow up 226 points, almost 0.9% at 26,016.63. That on volume of 509 million shares. The NASDAQ, as I say, a very strong day, up over 8,000, almost 8,019, up 72 points, 0.9%. That on volume of 882 million shares. And if those two are up, S&P record again, at least intraday, up 20.7% at 2,894.81. Well, with all that fireworks, everything went up today, right? Wrong. Tesla, you may recall, Tesla only 3 weeks ago said, I should say Mr. Elon Musk said that he was going to take the company private. Well, not anymore. It's going to remain as a public company. Shareholders convinced him it certainly was not in their best interest or in his best interest. It was in the best interest of Tesla to continue doing what they're doing. They are trying to ramp up the new M3, which has not come out as yet, or I should say Model 3, and it's still in production. They hope to have 6,000 cars a week come off the assembly line by the end of this month, and 10,000 cars a week by the end of this year. And I know a guy named John Scalzi would be happy if they made him a little faster, but oh well.
Well, you'll be back at 5 and see if we can break some records officially today.
That would work for me.
All right, sir. We'll see you then. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Still to come in your Suncoast News today, tips on how to make sure your kids are eating healthy, balanced school lunches. And then later, the state of the Catholic Church, as a prominent cardinal is calling for the Pope to resign.
The ABC 7 Stock Report is sponsored by Sunset Cadillac.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, fishing, or biking and hiking. Or play the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy the flavors of the Black Belt. Book your adventure at our lodges or stay in the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Another pair of satisfied emotions. Looks to me like elation and maybe some amazement. It's part of the Honda Summer Spectacular event experience. You could say satisfaction comes standard here, just like the Honda Accord comes standard with a luxurious, roomy interior. All at the Honda Summer Spectacular event.
We see it all the time.
Visit your local Honda dealer and test drive the Honda Accord, 2018's North American Car of the Year.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at nationalguard.com.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Some of our viewer photos are just phenomenal. Matt Smith sent this one in of a lightning strike over the weekend that hit a tree, and you can just see it being absolutely ionized, that layer of air around the tree. And of course, as soon as it hits the tree, it vaporizes a channel of tissues inside the tree and creates instant steam, just vaporizes it and blows a chunk out of the tree because of the explosion of that vapor inside the tree itself. Doesn't necessarily char the tree, and it doesn't necessarily kill the tree, but it sure is an amazing sight to behold. He actually found the tree that was hit after the lightning hit. Pretty amazing shot. We had a bunch of these kind of roll clouds heading across the area over the weekend. Some very big thunderstorms moved through, particularly on Saturday. I think we'll see a few thunderstorms around again today, but I don't think the total rainfall amounts are going to be as great as they were over the weekend. And boy, we needed the rain. Oddly enough, last year, August was the wettest month on record for an August. This year, one of the driest months on record for an August. So, you know, it just goes to show you don't like what happens in the weather today, wait till tomorrow, right? I put these pictures, by the way, on my Facebook page, John Scalzi, ABC 7. 88 degrees current temperature, 74 the dew point. We have enough moisture around, I think, to support about a 30, maybe 40% chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon as we head into the evening. And the sea breeze collapses, the rain chances go down quickly. A few scattered showers over on the other coast starting to make their trek across the peninsula, now by Lake Okeechobee. Two rivers, of course, still in flood stage, but it's minor stuff. High pressure, the dominant weather feature, bringing us that easterly wind. Our sea breeze builds in the afternoon in response to heating, and where the two meet, you get the explosion of showers and thunderstorms that ensue, and they will generally be pushed toward Gulf waters by that east wind pattern that we have here that continues probably for most of the week. West moving storms, and then some of the storms this week could actually end up being a little bit stronger. So the forecast looks like this today. East wind comes in at about 10, turning a little more northeast this evening, and we'll put in about a 30% chance of showers today with that drier air sneaking in. Moisture sneaks back in tomorrow, returns, gives us about a 50% chance of rain. That's true the day after as well, with highs throughout the time at about 92. As we head into the second half of the work week, moisture continues. The rain chances vary a little bit from day to day, but in general, it's looking pretty much like a typical Florida summer with late afternoon showers and thunderstorms and about a 40 to 50% chance of rain. Scott?
All right, John, thank you so much. In Health Smart today, school is back in session. That means making lunches and snacks for your kids. Kim Hutcherson has some easy ways to find a happy medium when it comes to school meals this year.
Back to school means it's back to the drawing board for lots of parents when it comes to school lunches and snacks. Making them easy and healthy is no small feat, especially when faced with row upon row of pre-made, heavily processed options at the grocery store. So how do you fight the urge to just pick up some Lunchables and call it a day?
One of the best ways to entice children about their lunches is to have them help pack the lunch. For littler children, give them a couple options and have them choose what they want in their lunches. And for older children that might be packing their own lunches, give them a guide of what food groups should be included in the lunchbox.
Not only are you getting a helping hand, but you're teaching kids about nutrition without them even knowing it. If you have a picky eater, try making healthier versions of their favorites. And what about making sure they get enough to eat after school or on weekends as they go from one activity to the next?
So when we're packing grab-and-go snacks, you can consider things like the string cheeses or maybe portable yogurt pouches. Fruits that have fiber will help keep your child full also.
Remember, healthy can be fun and fast. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
Well, it is now time for lunch, so let's get over to the kitchen and say hello to ABC 7 Culinary Director Judy Gallagher.
I love cooking salmon and eating salmon, and a really simple way is to turn your oven on a high heat and crust it, either with something like shredded potatoes, or today how we're doing it with panko breadcrumbs, and we're going to blend up some pistachio nuts. It's light, it's delicious. We add a little Dijon mustard to it and olive oil. Then we're going to marry it together with something that I read in a magazine, and I said, this sounds good, I'll tweak it a little bit. A fresh kale salad, baby kale, and roasted yellow beets. So we'll bring in a little sherry wine vinegar and white balsamic with that as well, just to balance out all the flavors. But beautiful pieces of salmon, and we are ready to enjoy it with just a simple butter drizzle and crust. So stay with me throughout the hour as I bring you pistachio crusted salmon.
It's hard to see when you're outside at night. It's time for the Atomic Beam Sunblast, the new solar-powered light that's super bright. Atomic Beam Sunblast lets you add a light anywhere, and the atomic solar panels charge the built-in lithium-ion battery quickly. Then the 180-degree motion sensor turns on the light when you get near and automatically turns off when you disappear. Look, here's a best-selling outdoor solar light, and here's the Super Bright Atomic Beam Sunblast. Get the Super Bright Atomic Beam Sunblast for only $19.99. But wait, call right now and you can double your order and get a second Sunblast, plus our best-selling Atomic Beam Flashlight. Just pay a separate fee. That's 2 Atomic Beam Sunblasts and the Atomic Beam Flashlight. Call now.
Call 1-800-431-6640. That's 1-800-431-6640. Or visit mysunblast.com. So call 1-800-431-6640. Order now.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day?
With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call, and you cannot be turned down for any reason. Even if you have health problems or are living on a fixed income, guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance policies could work for you with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
My mom didn't have life insurance and the cost all fell on me. And that's expensive. We're still paying for that.
Yeah, we're still paying for that.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now. In one phone call, you can help prepare your family with protection amounts up to $25,000. There are no medical tests or health questions. And remember, you cannot be turned down for any reason. In fact, TruStage policies are already protecting over 18 million Americans. And rates are designed to be affordable, starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease.
When I leave, everything will be taken care of for them.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now for a free, no-obligation quote. TruStage offers plans to fit your budget with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-218-4991 now.
An update now and a call for Pope Francis to resign on the heels of that bombshell grand jury report about sex abuse in the Catholic Church. ABC's David Wright explains why a former Vatican ambassador is calling for the pontiff to step down.
Smack in the middle of the most challenging trip of his papacy, a bombshell document from the Vatican's former top diplomat to the U.S. The Archbishop called on the Pope to resign. Archbishop Carlo Vigano's central claim that Pope Francis knew for at least 5 years that former Washington, D.C. Cardinal Theodore McCarrick was a serial predator, but that he only removed McCarrick last month. Quote, Pope Francis must be the first to set a good example to cardinals and bishops who covered up McCarrick's abuses and resign, along with all of them. On the papal plane, Pope Francis said he had read it, but would not credit it with a response. Here in Ireland, he had his hands full.
Above all, Holy Father, we ask that you listen to the victims and survivors.
The island of saints and scholars is also full of survivors who confronted Francis at every turn. He said a solitary prayer at a perpetual candle lit for sexual abuse victims, denounced the abuse and the cover-up as repugnant crimes, and, meeting with survivors behind closed doors, apparently used even stronger language for those responsible.
He literally said that they were filth in a toilet.
I've listened to him apologizing, but I see no action. And that's what I want. I want action.
I believe in the civil authority. I believe in law and order. I believe in the American police force.
And you want to see bishops go to jail?
I want to see them held accountable.
As David Wright reporting, the Pope is now calling on the people to read Cardinal McCarrick's letter carefully before making their own judgment. Let's get back to the kitchen now and check in again with Judy Gallagher for lunch.
Okay, we're ready to get started. I have a little key lime sugar, and I'm going to just sprinkle just a teeny bit. It's like curing salmon. If you've ever made that at home, you do a sugar cure if you cold smoke. So we're just going to do a little bit. You can get this over at St. Armand's Spice and Tea Exchange, and I love how it just balances everything off. So we're going to let that sit for just a moment with the sugar. Then we'll salt and pepper our salmon fillets. I always cook salmon with the skin on because it holds in the moisture. You can certainly pull it right back or ask them right over at Whole Foods. They'll be happy to take that off for you. So now the next thing we're going to do is I've already ground up pistachio nuts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put them in a bowl with panko breadcrumbs. And you want the unseasoned type because we're going to season them ourselves. So we're just going to kind of toss that around a little bit with our hands. And this topping is so good. It's going to last about a week if you don't put the butter with it right away. So you can put some in a little baggie, and you can crust a turkey tenderloin or several different types of fish by doing this. So I have a little butter. I drizzled a little butter in the bottom of the pan as well. And now we're going to put the rest of the butter, about 1/4 of a stick to 1/3 of a stick right in here. Toss it up with the seasoning. How easy is this, right? So we're going to take those salmon fillets, skin on, and we're going to place them skin side down. The oven temperature is set at 400 degrees. This is a good time of year now as we're getting into those later summer months where you want to have your oven calibrated before you go into the holidays. So you just want to have somebody, you can either look online how to do it yourself. I always have somebody come. It's worth a visit. Since I have 3 ovens, I want everything calibrated, ready to go. Because if you're off by about 20 degrees, it's really going to make a difference for your cooking and your baking. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to take a little Dijon mustard, and I'm just going to kind of spread it onto the salmon. You can either use the grain mustard or plain Dijon, whichever texture you prefer. I love the grain mustard, so I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to take a squeeze of lemon, and then I'm going to just top this, and I'm going to just kind of pat it down a little bit. I mean, how easy is this, right? So this is going to go in an oven, I would say about the size of these fillets, about 12 minutes at a high heat, and it's going to bake beautifully. We'll take that out when it's a perfect medium rare to medium. When we come back, I'll be tossing up the kale salad with some baby beets.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself. Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Get more for your money during the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Sunset Subaru. Subaru vehicles hold their value better than any other brand for 2018, according to ALG. And Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand for 4 years running. The Subaru Impreza is an IIHS top safety pick for 11 years running. Lease a new Subaru Impreza today for just $182 a month, or get 0% financing with 0 down. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
The ABC7 First Alert weather app just got even better. It's easy to use once you download it. First, tell the app to follow you, so you get alerts pinpointed to exactly where you are. Then customize your settings with all the places you go, from the beach to grandmother's house. Get accurate alerts for everyone you care about. You can even pick which weather alerts and categories you want and what they sound like. More ways to customize and more ways to keep your family safe. Download the ABC7 First Alert weather app today.
It's rainy season on the Suncoast. Storms can pop up at a moment's notice. Sometimes it's just rain. Sometimes it's much worse. When there's the potential for severe weather, you need to know fast. Trust ABC7 First Alert Weather to get you the information you need right away. We focus on the storms that impact where you live, and we're committed to alerting you with important information as soon as we get it. When severe weather strikes, trust ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
Coming up, new video released from the scene of a deadly shooting in Jacksonville. What we're now learning about the suspect. Plus, why residents are concerned about the increasing smell from red tide debris coming from what they believe is Suncoast landfills. And how World War II is being tied to the construction site of the Atlanta Braves' new spring training facility in Northport.
You're watching ABC 7 News at 12:30.
Welcome back. Our top story at 12:30. The search for a motive continues after a gunman opened fire at a crowded video game tournament in Jacksonville yesterday. 2 people were killed, nearly a dozen others injured before police say the suspect took his own life. ABC's Elizabeth Herr is in New York with the latest.
Gunshots ringing out at a video game tournament in Jacksonville, Florida, captured during a live stream.
Oh, what are you shooting with? Pop, 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 like it didn't stop.
Inside, gamers playing the NFL Madden 19, all vying for a chance to compete and win hundreds of thousands of dollars in this year's championship tournament.
My first reaction, I heard the shots and I thought, why is there firecrackers in here? And then I actually got hit, and I'd never been shot before.
Just moments before the shooting, the live stream even capturing a laser dot appearing on one player's chest, a reason why Toshiba Sharon, who was announcing the tournament, believes one of the victims may have been targeted.
Yes, he was aiming at the kid that was shot first.
Authorities are not yet confirming those details, so far telling ABC News they're in the process of tracing the weapon used in the shooting and are searching the suspect's father's home in Baltimore. Police have identified the alleged gunman as 24-year-old David Katz, who was an avid gamer who regularly competes in big money tournaments. Why the suspect went on a rampage remains unknown, but witnesses say he lost in this tournament early. The outcome, according to authorities, could have been much worse if not for a group of firefighters who happened to be nearby conducting a training session.
So we looked over and there were people swarming up the road. You don't think about it, you just do what you can to help.
One of the victims killed in the shooting has been identified as 24-year-old Elijah Clayton from California, and at last check, 6 people remain hospitalized. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New York.
Here in the Suncoast, more than 350 tons of red tide debris is sitting in Sarasota and Manatee County landfills. Now, some homeowners living east of the interstate believe the stench of those dead fish is creeping towards their homes. Manatee County officials say the amount of dead fish brought to the landfill is small in comparison to the estimated thousands of tons of waste that's dumped there every day. Recent wind patterns may be strong enough to carry the smell of dead fish nearly a dozen miles from where those fish are washing up.
My guess would be coming from the water, being that sometimes we can smell the salt in the air from where we live as well, so it makes sense that you would smell the dead carnage from the fish.
You would think that they would burn it or dispose of it in a right way. If they're just dumping it back here, that's going to bring a problem.
Both Sarasota and Manatee County say they are taking precautions to keep the smell of the landfill from bothering residents. Happening today, Longboat Keys Public Works Department is hosting a meeting on sea level rise and red tide concerns. The meeting is open to the public. It happens from 1:30 to 4:30 in the Town Hall Commission Chamber. Another Sarasota County beach is back open for swimming after a no-swim advisory is lifted. Brohard Beach in Venice has been given the all-clear, but the nearby Venice Pier Beach, along with Longboat Key Beach and parts of Lido Beach, are still under that advisory due to unsafe levels of bacteria in the water. The Florida Department of Health in Sarasota County monitors water quality weekly at 16 sites, and the next round of test results will be available tomorrow. And you can find all of our red tide coverage in one place, but going to our website, mysuncoast.com/redtide. Let's get a check now on our Monday weather with meteorologist John Scalzi, and it's always nice the next morning after we had some rain around in the afternoon the day before. Just seems a little cooler, a little nicer.
I agree. And boy, did we have some rain around Saturday night.
Did.
Oh my
That was
goodness.
a big one.
I think my dogs are still shaking.
It was just constant lightning,
It was.
wasn't it? Yeah.
It was. And it was very close by my house, I know. It was, I'm sure a lot of people haven't heard that kind of lightning in a while.
Yeah.
So it was very different. And I think we'll see more of that this weekend as well. When you get those late afternoon storms as opposed to the morning thunderstorms, they sometimes can tend to be a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Because you got the heating of the day to work with and such. Better updrafts. So here's the latest red tide status report from Mote Marine Laboratories. Their spotter spotters on the ground, doing their own subjective interpretation of how much irritant is actually in the air and what the respiratory irritation levels are. And they're putting a lot of places still in the low category. So that's great to see. We don't like those red flags that indicate an intense amount of irritant in the air. So hopefully that'll carry on. Showers now building near Lake Okeechobee on their way, but so far not a whole lot of action here locally. We'll talk about what to expect for the rest of the afternoon in just a second. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. Right now, 2 days after Senator John McCain died at the age of 81, his family is releasing details about his funeral plans. The senator will lie in state at both the Arizona State Capitol and the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. ABC's Emily Rao is in Washington.
As the tributes for six-term Senator John McCain continue to pour in.
Well, you can't replace a man like that. Everyone looked up to him. Everyone respected him.
The McCain family now sharing plans for his memorial services and funeral. McCain will lie in state at the Arizona Capitol on Wednesday, what would have been his 82nd birthday. On Thursday, a memorial service at North Phoenix Baptist Church, where former Vice President Joe Biden is expected to provide a eulogy. McCain's body will then lie in state at the U.S. Capitol Rotunda, where the senator's colleagues and staff, along with the public, will pay tribute to his decades of service on the Hill. And after stopping at the Vietnam War Memorial on Saturday, former Presidents George W. Bush and Barack Obama will eulogize the two-time presidential candidate at the National Cathedral before he is laid to rest on Sunday. Today, a moment of silence on the stock market floor. And more acts of reverence happening even across the globe. In Vietnam, where McCain spent 5.5 years as a prisoner of war, people now lining up to offer condolences in a book of remembrance at the U.S. Embassy.
He was a warrior. He was also a peacemaker.
At the White House, though, the American flag raised back to full staff shortly after midnight on Monday, while at the Capitol, the flag remaining at half staff.
Senators Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell are now requesting flags on all government buildings remain at half staff until Sunday evening after Senator McCain is laid to rest at the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis. Emily Rao, ABC News, Washington.
Early voting has ended across Florida ahead of tomorrow's primary election day, and Sarasota County's election supervisor says we could be heading towards record numbers. So far, more than 56,000 votes have been cast, either through vote-by-mail ballots or one of the early voting locations. Supervisor Ron Turner expects around a 30% turnout. Polls are open tomorrow from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. Looking ahead, the town of Longboat Key will host a workshop for residents after several coyote sightings on the Key. It's happening Thursday at Longboat Key Town Hall to educate residents about how to keep your pets safe from coyotes. That meeting is set for 1 p.m. and it is open to the public. Dog owners now have a new and improved place to take their pups to play in Bradenton. GT Bray's Happy Tales Dog Park now back open after 5 months as crews expanded and improved that park. New pavilions, water fountains, benches, tables, and waste bag dispensers, just some of the new amenities there. Happy Tales is open every day from sunrise to sunset, except Monday mornings from 7 to 10 when the parks are closed for maintenance. And the splash pad at Atwater Community Park in Northport is temporarily closed. Repairs are being made to that play area. There's no word yet on how long this temporary closure will last. As construction continues on the Atlanta Braves Spring Training Complex in Northport, we're learning some new details about its location. That stadium, where the team will begin training full-time in 2020, is being built near a World War II-era bombing range in the West Villages. The U.S. Department of Defense says the Venice bombing range is at medium risk for old bombs and ammunition that could still be buried in the ground there. The property is scheduled to receive ongoing monitoring, though, until the year 2071. In sports, Bucs quarterback Jameis Winston is having the best preseason of his career, but head coach Dirk Cutter says he will not be playing in Thursday's final preseason game. That means the team is starting a looming suspension with Winston a week early. Fans will not see him back in the uniform until September 30th when the Bucs will play the Bears. Winston was suspended the first 3 games of the regular season this year after the league investigated sexual assault allegations against the former Florida State Seminole. Big celebrations are being planned in Hawaii after a team from there won the Little League World Series. This was the scene in Williamsport, Pennsylvania yesterday, where the team shut out South Korea 3-0. Hawaii, now one of 7 states with at least 3 Little League World Championship titles. They last won in 2008, and this team was very dominant this year. All right, back to the kitchen now. Check in again with Judy Gallagher.
So the salmon's in the oven. It probably has about 4 minutes left, and it will come out and it'll be crusty on top and nice and brown, but the salmon itself stays so moist. This is your go-to dish that you can just whip up so easily when you get home from work. It's not going to take a lot of stress. So I have about a tablespoon of the mustard that I use as the base on the salmon. So just to marry these flavors together, I'm going to give that a little stir with some olive oil, and I'm going to keep checking the flavor to make sure that we are getting it right. A little white wine vinegar is going to be the trick, and just a splash of sherry wine vinegar as well. And then I'm going to add a little basil rosemary salt just to bring a finesse, because the salmon is so light in itself. We don't want to, what I say, overburden, meaning I don't want to over-season. Fish is just so delicate, and I want to be able to respect that. This tastes so good, trust me, just like this. Amazing. So we have our dressing, we're gonna toss it in. I am gonna sprinkle, again, just a little bit of that key lime sugar that we used. Let me grab a different fork, and we're gonna just toss this up. And then this is just gonna make a lovely side dish that we'll use with the yellow beets. And by all means, you could use, if you don't like beets, you can certainly use some grilled carrots and different vegetables like that. So my bowl's a little full because I'm tossing it everywhere, but you see the basic content of this beautiful salad. And then here come the beets. We're gonna add the beets towards the end. So the greens have been totally dressed, and the beets will just pick up a little bit of that flavor as we go ahead. There we go. Oh, I love this. It's light and it's simple. So here's the piece I just took out of the oven. So you can see perfectly browned, really flavorful, lots of crunch to it, but yet so delicate in the salmon as it is. So we'll just put some kale, baby kale salad like that, and some roasted beets. And again, these beets you can do the night before, and they can even wait out on the counter. Just take them out of the aluminum foil. I always roast my beets whole with aluminum foil. So there we have it. When we come back, we'll be ready for a bite.
Temperatures are rising and the deals are heating up during the summer clearance event at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota. The Ram 1500 has been named a Consumer Guide Best Buy for 6 years in a row. Get an all-new 2019 Ram Quad Cab for as little as $24,999, or save big and get up to $13,000 off a new Ram Bighorn Crew Cab. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota.
The day you lose your strength is the day you lose your independence. Muscle is lost with age, affecting your energy, balance, and mobility. Before you know it, you're depending on others just to get through the day. But you can reverse and prevent muscle loss. Introducing MyoHealth, a revolutionary proven approach to increased muscle strength and function in as little as 30 days. Live life on your terms with more energy and confidence.
After a serious health issue put me down, MyoHealth's getting me back up again.
I'm doing activities that I haven't done for a long time. It really works.
MyoHealth is a safe, natural dietary supplement, the result of decades of research and 24 human clinical studies. You can live stronger at any age with greater strength, mobility, balance, and energy. Call or go online now and take the MyoHealth 30-Day Strength Challenge.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TrueStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
Tomorrow at 9 on Suncoast View.
Red tide is still out in our Suncoast waters, but what is it doing to our bodies? I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, we'll talk to a local physician about how red tide can affect both our allergies and our respiratory system and what you can do to alleviate its effects. Plus, we learn how to fight back against red tide with the power of plants and an inside look at market conditions in Suncoast for Sale.
Tomorrow at 9 on Suncoast View.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
88-degree temperature, well on our way to hitting the 90 mark with a feels like temperature of about 103. Dew point value coming in at 74 and the feels like already is at 97. Lots of sunshine out there. Had some drier air that's kind of sneaked in at mid-levels, and that's going to reduce the number of showers I think that we are going to see this afternoon compared to what, well, say I thought earlier this morning or from yesterday, in fact. The drier air is evident on our sounding this morning from the balloon launch earlier on, and I think it'll be gone by tomorrow, and we'll return to more widespread showery activity. Got some showers kind of working their way over already, and a few places are still showing some rivers at flood stage, but it's pretty minor stuff. So there's the drier air that's come into the picture today. That's indicated here by these kind of bluer and more turquoise shades of color. The redder is wetter on this map, and that is advancing and will be here later tonight through tomorrow, and so our rain chances go up again tomorrow. We'll get just this little bit of a break, but that's not to say we won't see any showers at all. We will, and maybe even a thunderstorm or two working its way in on the easterly wind flow, bringing them in closer to the coastline where they kind of explode once they hit that sea breeze front, our sea breeze front, and the updrafts are created even stronger. Once that happens, lightning, a few thunderstorms around, all moving out to the west, and we'll head into about 6, 7 o'clock. Everything tames down, and we're left with a pretty quiet overnight. Then tomorrow, I think we'll have the same sort of pattern. Most of the day spent sunny and warm, followed by afternoon, late afternoon showers and thunderstorms once again. East wind comes in at about 10 knots, shifting to the northeast at about 10. That brings you a light chop with 2-foot seas. Water temperature now 87. Forecast looks like this. Daytime high coming in around 92 today, probably about the same thing tomorrow. Rain chances go up tomorrow to about 50%, then Wednesday hold it there. And then as we head over the next several days, I think we'll have that same sort of situation where we'll slightly vary the rain chances by a percentage, 10% or so, depending on whether or not some slightly drier air works in or doesn't. And all in all, we'll be looking at pretty standard conditions here, 40 to 50% chance of late day showers each and every day, right straight through the 5-7 days ahead. We'll have that east wind continuing, so that will favor those west mover storms. Scott?
All right, John, thank you. In consumer news today, the U.S. and Mexico have reached a preliminary agreement resolving key trade issues between the two countries. President Trump made the announcement from the Oval Office this morning. Negotiations fixed a major stumbling block between the two nations on auto manufacturing. The agreement could restart negotiations on NAFTA with all three parties, the United States, Mexico, and Canada, coming together to reach a new deal. So far, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has yet to comment. Last week, we told you about Disney paying for education for its workers. This week, the company's also raising its lowest wages by 50%. Starting in 2021, hourly workers will start at $15 an hour. This will help thousands of park and resort employees. Workers will also receive a $1,000 bonus that was promised earlier this year. An apple a day keeps the doctor away, right? Well, there's now a new top apple in town, Gala, the projected to be the most grown apple in the country this season. Red Delicious, which fell to number 2, had topped the list for more than 50 years. Granny Smith is expected to come in third, followed by Fuji and Honeycrisp apples. Speaking of Apple, a piece of the tech company's history can be yours for a price. One of the company's original Apple computers, a fully functioning Apple I, is hitting the auction block. It's one of only about 60 that are still left of the 200 designed and built by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak back in the 1970s, and it will not be cheap. Experts say it could fetch more than $300,000 at auction. That auction is set for next month. Still to come in your Suncoast News, we'll check in one more time with Judy in the kitchen. And then Walt Disney what is it doing to make a push for Black Panther to be nominated for an Oscar for Best Picture? We'll have the details coming up.
So, how many of us feel completely confident about our financial future? Let's hear some specifics. Yes, go ahead.
I don't want to be a burden to my kids. When my husband died, it took almost all of our savings to give him a proper funeral. I honestly don't know if there's enough to bury me, let alone cover expenses should something happen.
Okay. Let's talk solutions. One thing you may want to get in place is a guaranteed whole life insurance policy from United of Omaha Life Insurance Company, which is a Mutual of Omaha company. This is affordable coverage, which provides a cash payment which can cover funeral expenses, bills, and other financial needs. Most payments are on their way within 24 hours. Yes, sir.
I need medical exams, things like that.
No medical exams. If you're between the ages of 45 and 85, you can call this number or you can go online and apply for coverage up to $25,000. United of Omaha Guaranteed Whole Life Insurance. Call or go online now.
Excuse me a minute. Hi, Dad. No, don't try to get up.
Hi, I'm Julie, a right-at-home caregiver. And if I'd been caring for Tom's dad, I would have noticed some dizziness that could lead to balance issues. That's because I'm trained to report any changes in behavior, no matter how small, so Tom could have peace of mind.
We'll be right there. We have to go.
Hey, Tom, you should try Right at Home. They're great for us.
The right care, right at home.
You want a Maserati, but you need an SUV. Why not have both? Levante, the Maserati of SUVs.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
So here we have it. We have that beautiful pistachio and panko crusted salmon, slight little glaze of the Dijon mustard and olive oil work really well together. Some sliced lemon in the end, and then I have the roasted yellow beets and the baby kale, and we dress that so lightly with some white vinegar, a little sherry wine vinegar, olive oil, a little mustard, and lemon, so using the same ingredients. You can find this recipe on www.mysuncoast.com and click on the dining button, and you'll see the recipes, videos, and so much more. And don't forget, my cookbook and stories is out on Barnes & Noble online and Amazon online. It'll be in bookstores in just a few weeks. You can find that, Reflections and Recipes by Chef Judy. I hope you enjoy making your salmon. I know I'm going to enjoy it for lunch. I'm going to go ahead and throw it back to you guys.
Judy, thanks to you so much. Looks good. Coming up later today on ABC 7 News at 4, a Suncoast Animal Sanctuary sees an influx of sick seabirds, the latest victims of our ongoing red tide outbreak. And voters will head to the polls tomorrow for the primary election. We'll take a look at the race heating up for Florida's governor. We hope to join us later today for ABC 7 News at 4. In entertainment news, Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright Neil Simon passed away over the weekend, and some tense moments at Jay-Z Beyonce's concert in Atlanta. ABC's Christopher Watson has more in today's Showbiz Wrap.
What about us taking an adventure east?
Like Queens?
It's another first-place finish for Crazy Rich Asians, but the real news is how little business for the romantic comedy dropped from last week's debut. Down a mere 5.7%, adding $25 million for a $76.8 million total domestic gross. News not so good for the Happy Time Murders. The Melissa McCarthy comedy opened in third, but with just $10 million, well below the already modest $15 million it was tracking to make.
Yes, okay.
Neil Simon has died. The Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright and screenwriter's works include The Odd Couple, Barefoot in the Park, The Goodbye Girl, Biloxi Blues, and dozens more. Simon died Saturday night in New York. He was 91. A tense few moments at Saturday night's Beyonce and Jay-Z concert in Atlanta when an apparently drunk fan ran onto the stage and headed for the couple. He didn't get far. No one was hurt.
Let's say chocolate.
3, 2, 1, chocolate. And Pee Wee Herman, a.k.a. actor Paul Rubens, is 66 Monday. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. I'm Christopher Watson, ABC News.
When the Motion Picture Academy announced the Best Popular Film category, some people started calling it the Black Panther Award. After all, no superhero movie's ever been nominated for Best Picture. But the Los Angeles Times says Marvel still has its eyes on the big prize for Panther, hiring veteran Oscar strategists and for the first time budgeting for an Oscars campaign. No word yet on if the film will be eligible for both award categories. Finally, it's official. Remember that Ferrari GTO 250? The most valuable car ever sold at a public auction? Well, it did sell for a record-breaking $48 million over the weekend. This 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO, one of only 3 dozen that were made, but get this, they are all still running. The GTOs are so pricey because they were dominant racing cars in the 60s, not to mention that they are pretty beautiful to look at too.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, they sound. That's the thing about Ferraris. They sound so good.
Remember when we had the whole parking lot full of Ferraris?
Yes.
That was pretty amazing.
That was a nice day.
Yeah, that was a good day.
Thanks so much for joining us. We hope to see you again at 4 o'clock.